Hi everyone, I'm Lauren, and I'm finally doing a proper videos again, yay! I know it's July, but since I was away for 2 months, basically, I didn't get around to doing my April and May wrap-up, so I just want to do that now. I'm doing them in one video because May was a terrible, terrible month, really, honestly. So was June, but May was pretty bad, and so I only read one book. So yeah, it just doesn't make sense to do a separate wrap-up from May when it's just only one book. I read 12 books in April and 1 book in May, so there's 13 books to talk about. Let's just get started with the books. I'm just going to be going in order of what I read. So starting with April, the first book I read was Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. This is a reread for me, and I think a lot of people know what this is about from the Ghibli movie, and a lot of it is really similar to the movie. There are a lot of differences. This is just a whimsical fantasy adventure-y thing where the main character gets turned into an old lady, and she just kind of goes off on an adventure to see if she can break the curse, and she comes across Howl's Moving Castle, and she learns more about Howl and stuff like that. In the movie, there's this side plot about this war that's going on, and there's a little bit of a message about being nice to the environment and stuff like that Ghibli often does. And there's not really any of that in here. There's not really much of a romance too much in here, and there's also a few things here and there that are changed and whatnot. But surprisingly, the film is mostly pretty close, honestly. But anyway, with the book, I still really liked it. I liked it on my first read, and I might even like it more now. I don't know, it's nice rereading something that's like, ooh, that was so fun. I just sometimes really like a nice, easygoing, breezy fantasy book, and this is definitely one of them. There are 2 more books in this series. I have not read either of them yet, but I hope to soon, maybe. We'll see. There's only 3 books in the series, so it's not like that many. Oh yeah, I should say sorry if the lighting is a bit inconsistent or whatever. It's fairly bright in here because there's a lot of windows over there. Normally I'd be able to turn on the lights in here, which are super duper bright, but all the power in the room just doesn't work, so gotta call the electrician. Yay. The next book I read after that was Jurassic Park by Michael CRICHTON. I don't know. I read this for Murphy's, I think this was for her non-Patreon buddy read. Either way, it was for one of her buddy reads. I think even more people know the plot of this one. You know, there's an island with dinosaurs on it. Some things bugger up, and the people on the island have to try and escape and survive, basically. And it's actually a pretty close plot to the movie. It is definitely a little bit more mature, I think, and there's definitely a lot more sciencey bits, which I really like. The sciencey bits, actually, I really like that, because I think they're explained really well, and they're actually interesting, and it seems like the author knows what he's talking about. He's not just making up stuff. I feel like I read something, he had some sort of science degree, so he knows this kind of stuff well. I don't remember. But either way, it was just a really, really engaging read. Very nice page-turner kind of thing. And, oh yeah, it was good. The only thing that was a little bit minor, that I didn't really like so much, I don't remember the name of the character because it's been 2 months since I read it, but there's, so in the movie, there's the 2 kid characters. There's the girl and the boy kids. In the book, the girl is the younger one and the boy is the older one, and the girl is just really annoying and is always whining about, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? She's tired. She wants ice cream, even though there are velociraptors in the room. That kind of thing. And she was really annoying. There is a sequel to this. I'm not sure how good it is, but I am interested in reading it. I don't think the author normally writes sequels, and I think he was a bit hesitant to write the sequel to Jurassic Park, but, I already bought it, and I am curious about reading it, so I will give it a shot soon, hopefully. I think it was on my May TBR, actually, but May didn't work out very well. Then I read a few graphic novels, just some ones that I could borrow for free off of Hoopla. One of them I read was The Oracle Code by Marieke Nijkamp. I don't know how to pronounce that. And it's about this kid who gets caught up in some trouble and she loses the use of her legs, so she has to use a wheelchair everywhere. She really doesn't like that and goes to this school, everybody's disabled there, so it's kind of everybody's trying to get better at their disabilities. I don't know what you call that. Well, whatever. She goes to one of these schools, and it's in the Arkham City, so like Batman type of thing. But Batman doesn't show up in here. Whatever. But apparently the main character is in the Marvel universe normally, but she doesn't have powers, so I don't really know. I don't know much about superhero stuff. But anyway, she's getting used to her life at this school, and some shady stuff kind of happens at the school, and she wants to uncover what's going on at the school. And I thought it was okay. I like the main character and a few of the other characters, but overall it just it's kind of predictable, I guess. And there were a few things here and there that just was like, why didn't we do X? Why didn't we do Y? Like, what? Kind of thing. And yeah, just didn't really do anything for me. It wasn't necessarily awful, but it wasn't that good either. I think the art was okay, but yeah. Then I read All My Friends Are Ghosts by S.M. Vidori. This one, the troublemaker kid, and she goes off in the woods and finds this hidden other land where everybody's a ghost. And they have to fight big bad ghosts, and this one I liked even less than The Oracle Code. Because this one was more, I didn't like the main character at all. I didn't really like any of the characters too much, and I didn't like the art style that much. It was just overall really boring. Fights some big ghosties, and I guess the main character learns how to not be a jerk, I guess. I don't really have anything to say about it because it was just kind of forgettable and not really that interesting to me. The next one I read was How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom by Dojo Maru. This one is a light novel where the main character, he gets summoned to another world, like a fantasy type world, and he was summoned there to fight off bad guys, essentially, I think. I don't remember, or something like that. Instead of that, he decides to help out with the kingdom's more economic struggles, because he's more of a smart guy. He doesn't know how to fight. He's just really smart and knows a bunch of things that this kind of medieval-ish world doesn't know about. So he's using his smart knowledge from our world to help out in this new world. It's a pretty fluffy, light type of read, as a lot of the light novels that I read that I really enjoy. That's kind of the thing this is. A lot of animation shenanigans. But he does say some things that sound kind of smart. I don't know if actually the principles that he talks about are legit or not. But, I mean, I think it works, and I quite liked it. So I do want to read some more of this as well. The next one I read was Exit Strategy by Martha Wells. This is the last novella in the Murderbot Diaries series. There is the new Network Effect that's after this, but it is a full novel. If you're on BookTube at all, I think a lot of you have heard about this. Murderbot is great. Insecure type android, I guess. They have both human and machine parts, but they're not supposed to have free will, and he gets it, but they keep on getting into trouble, and all they want to do is just watch media all day. I just love Murderbot's personality so much, and he gets into a lot of shenanigans, and some of the scenes in here were really, really fun and a lot of action-packed and stuff like that. I don't think it's my favorite novella. I think I still like the second one the best, but I still think maybe this is my second favorite one, maybe. Or maybe the first one is my second one. I don't really know. But it was still a really fun novella. And I really want to read Network Effect, because I still haven't read that. That is also not the book that I read in May, that I was supposed to read in May, so yeah. Next one I read was The Riddle by Alison Croghan. This is the second book in the Book of Pelennor series. This is another one that's a reread for me, and it's been a really long time since I read it, so I didn't quite remember what went on until I kind of read it. After I read the first one, it was kind of slow, because it was kind of set up almost, and so when I went into this, I thought it would be a little bit faster, and no, it's still pretty slow to start off with, but after the halfway point, maybe earlier, I don't know, it picks up at some point. And so this took me a lot longer to finish than it might normally have. How many pages is this? It's over 450 pages. And normally that wouldn't take me an incredibly long time, but this took me a while to read. But a lot of the characters that were introduced here I did really like, and this book is definitely a lot of growth for the main character. What's her name? Mayrid. And so I think once I got going, it was really, really good. It's just a bit slow to pick up. But I still quite enjoyed it. I do like the writing style, even if it's slow. So I don't really know what else to say about it. I do still want to finish the series. I believe I had this for my series to finish goals, although not that I'm going to achieve all of my goals, because May and June really messed that up, but you know, whatever. There are still 2 more books for me to read in this, so I'm halfway through, and we'll see how that goes. Next one, I just randomly picked up a very, very short one, and that is The Magic Finger by Roald Dahl. I think this is a reread for me. It seemed very familiar, but I haven't read any particular Roald Dahl book in years and years and years, but I do remember liking a lot of them. This one was okay. I mean, it's a very short book, so it's hard to expect that much. It's like not even 60 pages long, so yeah, it is extremely short, and it's just about this girl who, when she gets mad and points at people, crazy stuff happens. Some shenanigans happen. I mean, I can't really explain too much about it because it is so short. And there's a lot of pictures and things, like, I don't know if you can see that, but that's like a full page, and that's a lot of the book. So didn't interest me too much. It wasn't bad either, but it wasn't incredibly funny, I guess, and wasn't incredibly deep either, so it just didn't do that much for me. But at least it was really short, so it was fine. Then I read Ascendance of a Bookworm Part 2, Volume 3 by Mia Kazuki. This is This is the 6th book in the series, so yeah, I really like it. Girl from Japan dies. She gets reborn into like a fantasy world. All she wants to do is read books, but she can't because she's just a poor peasant girl, can't afford books. So she tries to find any sorts of ways to read books, whether that's making them herself or whatnot. And I really love this. I don't remember what happened in this particular volume, Part 2, Volume 3, because I've already since read Volume 4, so that's a little bit more fresh on my mind than Volume 3. I think Part 2, Volume 3 may have been a bit slower than some of the other ones, like a lot more crafting and less progression and plot-wise. But I do remember it being interesting. I need to reread all those volumes again because I read them really fast. But I enjoy every page of Ascendance of a Bookworm. So, yeah. Obviously, if I go too deep into the plot, it would be spoilers because it's the 6th volume. But, man, I always can't wait for a new volume of this to come out. Then I read Mort by Terry Pratchett. This is the 4th book in the Discworld series, and it is the first book in the Death sub-series. So the main character is Death, or one of the main characters is Death. And he's one of my favorite characters in the Discworld universe. And this one's about Death. He gets an apprentice, Mort, and Mort is just being trained to be Death's apprentice, and wacky Discworld type shenanigans ensue, as per usual. I really quite like this one, just because Death was the main character, and overall everybody gets into ridiculous situations, and Death is, I just love Death. He's so cool. I don't know how to describe his personality. There were a few things here and there that were a bit confusing, a bit rushed through, I think. But overall, it was a lot better than the first 2 Discworld books, so I'm happy about that. It was overall, for the most part, a pretty fun read through. Then I read another graphic novel from Hoopla, and that is Rascal by Jean-Luc Deglin. This is about a woman who randomly gets a cat, like it's kind of forced on her, and it's just shenanigans with her and the cat. This cat is kind of a rascal, destroying things and whatnot. And, it was fine. I didn't super duper like it. The art was nice. But the problem with it is that, they're kind of slice of life snippets. And some of the snippets don't really have a punchline to them. Like, I think overall it's supposed to be funny, but it's not at all, really. And then some of the other ones that could have been funny were kind of jokes that a bunch of other people have made about their cats and things, and it just wasn't particularly done in an interesting way. Cats do dumb things, and, like, cats lick their butts, and cats make a mess of their litters. Like, it's just, there's nothing here that seems particularly unique to this collection of little stories, essentially. So, it didn't at all impress me, so... The last book I read for April was Assassination Classroom Volume 10 by Yusei Matsu. This is about this classroom of misfits who have to try and kill this alien who's threatening to destroy the world, kind of thing. It's very wacky, silly, humorous type thing, manga series. The problem with this volume was it just kind of seemed pointless a little bit most of the time. Just not really much happened here. But also I realized that I don't think this story works so well in manga form. I know it came before the anime, but I just like how punchy the anime is in comparison. There's a lot of action in here, and I don't think it translates very well in manga form. So I'm just kind of left, like, it feels weird to me. It doesn't feel right. I feel like the series has kind of dipped down in the manga for me, so I think I'm just gonna stop reading the volumes. I might rewatch the anime, but I don't think I'm particularly interested in reading more of the manga. So for the last book that I want to talk about, which was the only book that I read in May, and that was The Thief by Megan Millen Turner. This is a reread for me. I want to finish this series, but I had only read this book a while ago, so yeah. I think there's 6 books in the series, so I have a bit of catching up to do. This book is about a thief who gets picked up by a few people who are on a quest to try and get this magical MacGuffin thing, and they need his abilities because he's supposed to be the best thief. It's a pretty simple premise, I feel like, and I was a bit worried I wouldn't like it on reread because a lot of people have said, like, oh, it's kind of boring and stuff. I really like it on second reading as well, so I'm like, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of background, like, talking about the gods in this world and things like that. But I don't know, I thought it was all really interesting. It's kind of Greek or Romanesque feeling. Yeah, there's a lot of humor in it. It's pretty a light read, and I really enjoy the characters, especially the thief Jen, who's Jen, I don't know. The main character, he's really fun, and he has a lot of kind of snark, but I always think snark sounds bad, but his travel companions kind of pick on him because he's this dirty thief or whatever, and he bites back. Not literally bite, but with his words, and it's always good. And so I just really like this. I am looking forward to reading the other books in the series, although I'm a little bit worried about some of them, because I hear that they don't have Jen at all, and I'm like, why would they not have Jen? Best character. But I want to read them, so we'll see how that goes when I get there. Those are all the books that I read in April and May. Let me know if you've read any of these and what your thoughts are on them. I would be glad to hear them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in another video. Bye!